for all you illustrators out there that have been wanting to get into doing some digital work. Corel Painter Essentials 5 is a great way to start. I'm going to show you here this silly little bee illustration that I created quickly within the program. Very easy to do. You can just fire the program up and start painting with it. You'll find it very easy to use, very intuitive to use, and I'll walk you through here what I did to create this illustration. First of all, holding down the Shift key and choosing a variety of brushes that come with the program, I pulled off these brushes that I will use the most: Grainy Pastel, Jitter Smooth, Square Hard Pastel, Fine Spray, Glow Brush, Spring Rainbow Silk, and Directional Diffuser. These are essentially the only brushes I use to create this illustration, and dragging them off onto a custom palette makes them readily available and accessible. Of course, I picked colors from the color ring here, and this is how I started. I created a new image, and you can see a little bit ahead because I'm going to reveal layers. A new image here, blank canvas, and on the new layer here, top layer, I drew this bee, and I did it using the Grainy Pastel Jitter Smooth brush, and just picked a color. Didn't really matter what color at this point, and drew this little bee character. After that, I went in and I painted the sky background on another layer, and I make sure I label each of these layers so I don't get lost while I'm doing them. I painted a clouds layer, and I can see through the bee because all I did was draw the outline of him. If I turn him on and off, you can see that. Created a new layer here, filled in the color. In this case, I started using the Square Hard Pastel brush, and then finally I put in this gray color over his wings here. I'll switch to the next image. Here's the next image in the series, so you can see where I left off with the earlier one. I lowered the opacity of the wings layer so that you could see through it a little bit, and I started to add some shading using the Fine Spray airbrush tool. I painted this over on separate layers, carefully erasing here and there, and on this last layer painted some highlights down the side of the bee. Really easy default brushes. I used Multiply, Normal, or Screen for my layers. So the highlights here would be Screen, the shading layers are Multiply, the bee layer is a default layer. Close this one and show you the next image. The next one here, again going back to both my Square Hard Pastel and the Grainy Pastel Jitter Smooth, I started to add a little bit of detail on a layer on top of the bee, refining him a little bit, making him a little more illustrative, a little more drawn. You can see I've started to blend a little bit of sky in the background. Very quick. The whole illustration here just took about an hour and a half at the most. Very quick process, very intuitive, very easy to use. Go to the next image. And here's our next one. And here I copied the whole bee layer, I pasted it into itself, I applied some lighting under the effects as it goes off screen. Well, it shows apply lighting, and created it on this new layer, then erased here and there so that the lighting had a little effect of darkening on this side. Go to the next one. We're almost done here. It's a really quick process, very easy to do. All of the bee was merged into one image at this point, and an apply texture was applied, or apply texture was given the whole texture to make it look like pastel. So I zoom in here a little bit. That is under Effects, Apply Surface Texture, and use the paper texture to give the whole thing the look and feel of a pastel painting. Very, very easy. The painting is essentially done here. I could have let it go at this point, but I did want to go ahead and use one more new feature in Painter Essentials. That is, well, I used two actually. I used the Rainbow Silk brush to add these wispy kind of streamier kind of things in the air, give some little motion to the image. And then I use the directional diffuser brush to add some motion blur essentially to the back of the bee to make him look like he was flying through the sky. So that's about it. Easy to start, easy to paint with, easy to learn. Corel Painter Essentials 5. Give it a try. You'll like it. It'll be a good jump off point into digital painting, digital illustrating.